Over the weekend, the AWF ran the 2016 Australian International. Shy Speed and Strength took one lifter up. Jackson Roberts-Young competed in the Saturday night session with the 105s and 105 plus category. That had lifters who had had 4 Olympic appearances, some Commonwealth Games medals, including the 105 gold medalist from 2010. This is Cougar's weightlifting club. This is the warm-up area. Jackson opened the snatch at 113. We had to be very conservative with the snatch. We had an injury 5 weeks ago to Jackson's elbow, his left elbow hyperextended on a pretty heavy snatch attempt, and he really couldn't snatch or clean and jerk for about 3 weeks. So it's far from, not only is it far from the ideal preparation. There's a second attempt there, successful with 118. Now this is 122. Now the state record for junior 105 in New South Wales is 121. This is 122, and this gave us the new state record, exactly what we're looking for. Now we're trying to qualify for Junior Worlds. In Junior Worlds, we needed a 286 total, and this was the last event, last weekend we could actually do it. We opened at 158 here on the clean and jerk. That's our first attempt. Previous PR is 160. Now, I did say that we'd had a very serious elbow injury 5 weeks out from the comp, but 9 days out from the comp is where we had our last heavy session. Now, this is a clean plus front squat plus jerk at 160. And you can see the left elbow is a little low. This was, probably pretty much the first day where we could really get a decent racking position on it. But after this rep, we were really, really confident in thinking that, hey, we should be able to go ahead and hit what we need on the day. Now this is 164 on the bar, and you'll see what happens. So let's be clear, we've just missed 164 and we need 286 in order to hit the A grade. This is the last competition in which to do so. There is another opportunity to qualify for Junior Worlds. We've already missed one comp because of an elbow injury that happened 5 weeks ago, and all we've really been able to do is just some very, very heavy pulls and squats, which exactly that's how we've used our time thoughtfully. But 9 days before comp, we hit 160 with a clean plus front squat plus jerk, and needs to be an explanation for how we ended up in this situation, and there is. We'd been weighing in around about 103 to 106 on different training days leading up to it, so we thought, hey, we'll just back off the food, back off the hydration a little bit, and we should be able to fit in the weight class very, very easily and still feel very strong because we've backed off the volume and intensity of work. Now we get up there, it's pretty hot. It's we sweated quite a little bit watching most of the 77 class lift, and when weighing came in, we were down to just over 100 kilos. So that's not a bad outcome in and of itself, except for the fact that Jackson was feeling pretty thin during the warm-ups, and so the domino effect was that the new belt that he had used for the last 5 weeks was starting to feel pretty pretty big on him, and so he came in 1 notch during the warm-ups, and it was 1 notch a little bit too much, because his last warm-up of 150, he felt like it really cut off some of the circulation through his trunk, and that made it pretty darn hard to actually get the rep out. In fact, he had to dump the jerk before he actually was then able to go out and hit his opener at 158. But that 158, far from being an easy opener, was really, really tough. You see, he had to bounce it twice. He really caught it right back on his heels. It was into his hips a lot, and it really drained the hell out of him. When he finished that rep, he was really pale. He was almost a little bit nauseous. He may have well have been back under 100 kilos of body weight. He was sweating so much, and that was what led to the miss at 164. Now, fortunately, there were some other lifters who were all around the same weight, and it gave us the opportunity to go ahead and sit down and relax, and actually made Jackson go and put his feet up on the bench while he's laying on the platform, just to get some blood flow back to his head and some color into his face. So about 2 minutes 30 of me waving a towel, Jackson with his feet up, trying to get some color back in, and just thinking about what we need to do. My focus really was just trying him to think about, hey, I got to get this clean. I've got to get this clean. I know he can jerk pretty much whatever he can clean. So it just that extra few moments of just kind of thinking about what we need to do, how are we going to do it, and then just setting himself so he can go and hit the rep he needs to hit.
Elbows up, tight body, tight body. Come on, you make that rep, head through. Push, 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 push. Wait, wait, wait.
You'll notice my little bit of coaching lean during that rep there, and but look, hey, there was no way we were going to miss that as far as Jackson was concerned. I have to say I had my doubts that he was going to be able to get that. I was really worried, but we had trained a tremendous amount. He looked so much better getting ready for that that last attempt that we did on the first attempt, and he got it out. We got it. I can't tell you how happy we were about hitting those reps and getting that 286. It should have been easier than that, but you've just got to work with what you're working with, and that's competition day. We had a couple of guys who bombed out altogether, very experienced lifters. But on the day we were the one who was able to just get what we needed and survive for the survive in advance. That's what happens. But there's plenty of work to do now. We don't know exactly when the next competition is going to be. That we'll find that out, I guess, in the next few weeks. But whenever it is, it's going to leave us plenty of time to tidy up some of our skills. And Jackson is not a very good snatcher. He's not really built for weightlifting, being 6'2". Also his elbows really don't allow for a nice racking position overhead. The way that the lower arm extends beyond the humerus ends up putting the elbow directly in front of the bar if the bar is trying to be directly over the shoulder, and that just makes it a little bit more difficult to put stress on the elbow. We did have a sublux of the elbow in a training rep where someone thought it would be a really good opportunity to walk in front of Jackson when he was taking a heavy snatch. That's kind of what happens when you're running a gym where you have a lot of inexperienced lifters. And that really affected the warm-ups for the progression of really turning some of our technical work into something that happens with great efficiency in terms of the competition lift on competition day. You'll notice that the bar will drift forwards a little bit for Jackson when he's pulling it in that first pull position, and this happens around about 110. Once he gets to 110, the dynamic start which he's using just gets a little bit away from him. He just drops his hip a little bit too much. You'll see the bar just roll forwards ever so slightly, and that creates this kind of snaking situation where the bar kind of goes forwards and then it kind of swings in and then it goes forwards again. It's kind of like a car getting out of control on a wet road, and we have to continue to work hard to make sure this doesn't happen on max attempt reps, because it's really going to be a problem. And look, he did that in the competition, and the 118 was probably the best of the reps technically, and we still were successful. So look, it's something that we're going to have to work on and tidy up, and I think it's just going to mean that originally we wanted to hit about 130 in this competition. We had to dial it back because of all the time lost with the injury, but we're going to be able to do that. I think certainly for the next competition, and that's pretty much where that skill should be. That competition lift, the snatch, should be around about 130. I guess the only last thing to point out here is we really talk about a bit of a fish out of water here. We talk about Jackson's lifting against guys who are Commonwealth Games gold medalists, people who've been to the Olympics a couple of times. Since Jackson's last competition at Nationals last year, he actually competed in his team's gridiron season for 3.5 months, and that's the reason why the big break between competitions. So let's be clear. I mean, we're talking about someone who's hit an A grade, despite the fact that he's been mixing other things in, and but right now the focus totally is weightlifting. There's some good opportunities on the horizon. We'll find out more about where he's going to be going pretty much in I guess in the next few weeks. And Junior Worlds are, I think, 14 weeks away, and if that's what he ends up doing, then he's certainly going to put everything that he has, and maybe even try to hit the Australian record for the 105 junior class.